Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of In the End, There's Always a Disney Guide. Make sure you go to DisneyGuide.tk, subscribe to my blog, and let's get into today's episode. That's Disney God, DisneyGod, DisneyGod.tk. And, subscribe to my blog so you can get updates for whatever. And it's definitely as regards to this show. Today, we're going to be talking about a subject that is very important to me, and that is racism. I know you guys are very prone to this subject, and it has been one of the most, it's been one of the biggest topics that has been happening these past years. It just keeps going on. I don't get why racism is still going on. You hate me because of the color of my skin. I don't get why. What is it with my skin color that is so just threatening to you? And I don't get why these cops think it's okay. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. When the George Floyd incident took place, I could understand why people were rioting and doing the things they were doing. I could understand that. But there was also a part where, okay, you're wrecking the city. The more wreck that you cause and the more wreck and havoc that you put on the city and damage that you put on the city, do you also realize that the taxes are gonna have to be raised up, because the city needs money to repair all the stuff that you damaged. Then they're gonna have to raise taxes up, and 30-cent milk would turn into $2.30 because of some stuff that you guys, that people go crazy over. But at the same time, I could get why though. I could get why. But just because I get why doesn't make it right, because you're still destroying the city. And, back then when the incident did take place, Lori Lightfoot was crying on the news, trying to plead with them, trying to warn them that if you guys don't stop, that they're going to have the National Guards pulled out here. And the National Guards are different. They are totally different from the police. That's why Lori was crying and pleading with them, because she knew that the governor, JB, because JB wasn't having this. JB he was finna do what needed to be done. And that's why Mayor Lightfoot was trying to plead with them and cry out to them, telling them to stop, because if they send out them National Guards, the National Guards are totally different from the police. The police are trained to shoot if necessary, if completely necessary. The National Guards can kill whoever they want. That's what they're trained to do. They could kill whoever they want without getting any trouble. Whoever is a threat, or who to them perceives as a threat, they can kill them, because they're the National Guards. The police, they can't do that. They don't have that type of level of authority. They can only shoot if really, really, really necessary, if their life is actually in danger. But the National Guards can shoot if they think that they're a threat, whether they are or not, or if they're just protesting. They can shoot them too. That's the total difference between the National Guards. They can shoot whoever they want. They can't get in trouble because that's what they're trained to do. And it's sad. All of this because you dislike a person because of the color of their skin. This topic gets under my skin so much. It makes me mad, because the level of prejudice that we as humans do have, it's like it's like the biggest level factor. You're judging someone based off their color, when at the end of the day we're all going to be judged for every single thing that we've done in the end. Now, a lot of people often, refer this to, with homophobic. They also, refer racism to homophobic behaviors. And I wouldn't really compare the two or try to say that they're similar, because the difference between, with homophobic slurs and with with people saying and making homophobic comments. Okay, I get how that is, very disrespectful to the LGBT community, but that definitely does not have the right to you try to compare the two as if they're the same, because they're not. Racism has been going on since all the way back in like the 1900s and stuff like that. Racism is going on way before homophobia has started. That's happened a long time ago. So please don't compare racism to homophobia. Just don't do that, okay? I could get why you may think it seemed, because honestly, they're both topics come from a prejudiced subject. I can totally see why people do that, but you can't compare the two because racism has gone on longer. Now I get that, homophobia has killed people and caused suicidal things to happen to those. I understand that. But like I said, racism has gone on longer. The issue has been going on since back in the 1900s. Okay? This problem is still going on. It's still happening. And matter of fact, when it comes up to the homophobic topic, I didn't even realize that I was actually watching Grey's Anatomy. And I was thinking, why did Isaiah Washington, who plays Preston Burke, leave? Came to find out that Mr. Washington was accused of making homophobic slurs there was an incident between Isaiah Washington, who plays Preston Burke, Patrick Dempsey, who plays Derek Shepherd, and T.R. Knight, who plays George O'Malley. There were an incident between the three. But Isaiah chose to use a homophobic slur against TR, which totally is disrespectful. How you're gonna do that to your your cast member? That's disrespectful. But he claims that he didn't mean it in that way. He was trying to say that the word that he used, the F word for the homophobic slur, he tried to say he wanted to use it as weak. It doesn't matter. You don't say the word period. Just like a white person can't say nigga. You don't say those things. You get what I'm saying? So it's crazy. And then Catherine Heige, who played Izzy Stevens, was like, he shouldn't be allowed to speak ever again, which honestly he shouldn't, because he shouldn't have made those comments. It doesn't matter what you were trying to, abbreviate the term with, or what you were trying to, call him. You don't use that term point blank at all. You just don't. It's just disrespectful altogether. Just like you saying the N-word is disrespectful to black people. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And it's insane how racism is still happening to this day. It's crazy. And honestly, it makes me mad. It just really makes me so upset. It's so much happening with this pandemic, and it's not even safe no more. If it's not something with the cops, it's a teenager killing a child, or a teen carjacking. Chicago is messed up. It's just messed up. And I honestly don't blame anyone for fleeing the city, because I would too. I would totally flee this city as fast as I could possibly think. I would flee this city right along with those who've been, packing their stuff and getting up out of Chicago. I don't blame you, because I do too. Chicago isn't what it used to be. Chicago is the #1 murder city. Let me say that. I don't know how Chicago PD is they must be brave to be able to shoot up in Chicago, to shoot their show in Chicago. They must be really brave to be able to shoot their show in Chicago with all the stuff that's been going on. I don't know how they do it. I just really don't know how they do it, because it's ridiculous with all these killings. Just killing for nothing. And then they want to cry when they're standing in front of a judge about to hit their sentence, when they get a life sentence for something. And that's another thing. The justice system is horribly wrong, and we all know that. It's crazy how a black person could probably get caught with, I don't know, smoking cigarettes and be locked up for like a year just for doing something like that, versus if it was a white person would have got off. Just like with Derek Chauvin's case, I feel like he should have got life. I mean, let's just be real. He should have got life for what he did. To who did Derek Chauvin kill? I think it was George Floyd. I forgot. Because it's been a while since I've heard about that. I believe it was George Floyd. Yeah, it was George Floyd who he killed. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's just completely. It's annoying as hell. I'm gonna say that it's just annoying, and people are able to sit here and pretend like the issue doesn't exist. And it's like, no matter how people say, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that, or I'm not racist, it's always the ones that say that they're not really racist. Those are the ones that literally be the racist ones. It's just crazy. The ones that say they're not racist, those are the ones that are actually racist. It's not even funny, honestly. It's just sad. It's sad and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievably ridiculous at this point, and it just makes me sad to my core that as a black person, I have to be afraid to grow up in a world of where there is so much racism. I can't even step out the door without worrying about a cop probably trying to pull me, if a cop going to pull me over when I get my car, when I get my driver's license, which I pray to God that I make it to get that far in life. It's ridiculous. And it's insane. It's just insane, completely insane. And I feel totally bad for the kids who've been killed, especially the innocent ones who've been killed for no reason and have not gotten a chance to experience life. It's crazy. It's just too crazy for me to even understand. It's just insane. Every time I go outside the house on a Saturday or on a Sunday, or I would say when I'm probably like going with my mom to get some stuff, there's a funeral because we have there's like 2-3 churches on like in our block, and it's crazy. It's just crazy. I just don't get why people are like this at all. But that's the type of world we live in. So I can't even really say that I'm shocked, because that's the type of world that we live in. And it's sad. It's just really, it's really, 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 really sad. And it's like it's like I hate when people say like the words all lives matter. Yeah, all lives do matter. But if all lives matter, why is there a Black Lives Matter movement? I guess people don't realize that the reason why there's a separate movement is because there's a certain amount of, well, not even a certain, almost all killings are towarded black people. So yeah, all lives do matter, but if that was the case, this wouldn't be happening to black people if all lives supposedly do matter. If all lives do matter, all these black people wouldn't be getting killed like this by cops and by all these racist white people. It wouldn't be happening. It's just it's crazy. But thank you guys for listening into today's episode. I just really wanted to express that, because a lot of that has been going on. It's annoying, and I'm pretty sure to those who are black, you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm black, and it pisses me off. It just really does. But thank you for listening in for today's episode. Make sure you follow this podcast. And yeah, bye bye, guys.